Bonsoir, mes amis. Welcome back to Monaco. Last time, the gentleman decided he was a amateur dentist. This time, we're going to keep performing our little magic trick. So, the title of this mission, the one we're pulling now, is The Devil's Trick. That's actually a reference to a couple different things. I believe there's a passage in the Bible that says something like the devil's finest trick was convincing the world he didn't exist. That line is also paraphrased in The Usual Suspects, which some people have been noticing in the thread. This game is now having a lot more similarities to that rather than it is Ocean's 11. Usual Suspects is a pretty good movie. You may have heard the name Kaiser Soze tossed around before. That's actually where that comes from. But basically it's the point of view of, there's this criminal mastermind named Kaiser Soze, and everyone has sort of a different opinion on who he is. And I'm fairly sure the Devil's Trick is referring to that movie rather than the Bible portion, but I could be wrong.
Quoi?
As before in this mission, the underground level actually isn't so hard to deal with. The only thing you really have to worry about is being decisive in your movements. If you decide to stay over long in any one area, then you're going to start attracting guards' attention, or you're going to get caught by a security system. The main difference here is that all these cone alarms are everywhere now, so if you linger around trying to sneak around all the guards, then you're going to be in trouble. The only main place you're going to find a big security problem is here in the secondary control room. If I was thinking a little bit more clearly, I would have grabbed that other virus, but as it is, this works too.
J'étais sûr d'avoir entendu quelque chose.
I believe I mentioned last level that it seems like the hacker is most useful in levels like Centre Hospitalier or False Teeth, and not actually the level where it seems like he's designed for, being the security expert with all the viruses. You think he'd be really useful in a place like Securitech. Well, it turns out I'm a big fat liar. The hacker is extremely useful for this level. Here on street level, and on the second floor, there are a good number of pretty brutal security systems that having an extra virus or two wandering around can definitely be pretty useful. That's not to say that the security systems are impossible to circumnavigate, just that if I had an extra virus or two running around, it would be a lot more possible. This area up here in particular, I don't remember the name, something technology, information technology, to even get into the room, there's a good number of lasers that are blocking you from even making good headway. So, it's not impossible by any means. It's just difficult. If you're one of those people who doesn't like to set off alarms or take any risk, then you're practically never going to make it in here.
Qui va là? Je te tiens!
Same thing goes for the office here. You have to deal with the cone alarm and with that secondary alarm, the rotating laser, that are both connected to machine gun turrets. Honestly, my only thought is luckily they're not shotgun turrets because, well, I consider those just a little bit more of a threat myself. aside from my little blooper right there, all of the lasers here in the atrium are actually completely avoidable. You might not think so, considering, you know, they seem like they've got pretty good coverage, and some of these are, you know, always stay on lasers, but by using the bushes cleverly and by taking advantage of the laser's dead zone, so to speak, you can pretty easily get by them. The other spot where the security seems really intimidating is down in the computer labs. There are 3 lasers in the top section and 2 in the bottom, and they've all got a fairly good coverage radius. But just by using the computer right next to it, you can easily break into it and get access to all the viruses you need to get out. Honestly, even if you get stuck in here, it's you're never completely in a bad spot that you won't be able to get out of. Also, I really want that disguise. It actually doesn't come that handy, but I want it. The last 19 pieces of gold are all on the way towards the exit, so we'll come back for them. The second floor is really where the security systems begin to shine. You can see just here in the server room there's 2 plugs you can work with, but I get a little bit lucky down here with the laser's placement, and by having the disguise I can just bump right into this guard and grab the trophy. And with my virus being a little bit adventurous, I can make my way out the other side easily enough. As I mentioned before, there's no character that's really necessary to finish a single mission. There are definitely characters that make different missions easier. The Gentleman is always useful on missions that you're going to have a lot of guards in. The Locksmith is useful for missions that have a lot of safes, or, for instance, I would say the very first mission of the game, the Prison Break, is really the Locksmith's time to shine, because to properly speedrun it, all you're doing is opening locked doors. You know, and obviously other characters have missions like this where you have to deal with the security system, or you have to pick up a lot of gold. The pickpocket will do well, things like that. But part of the excellence of the map design is that in no specific area is it absolutely required for you to have a certain character to bypass the security system. It really feels that way sometimes. But by taking just a little bit of risk, you can make it through pretty much any level in the game. Actually, while I was doing my practice runs for the game, I was able to finish I will say almost the entirety of the pickpocket story using just the Lookout. Now, granted, the Lookout is a preferred character of mine, but even so, the Lookout's only real special power is she can see where the guards are. As far as avoiding security systems, that just requires a little bit of ingenuity. That laser's actually pretty easy to dodge in the event you don't manage to alert a cop. It takes a pretty long route around the skyway here, so they're the sky bridge, so it's never anything to really worry about, but if you step on a bird by mistake, you can easily catch somebody's attention. This area on the lower left is one that I'm thinking of when I say the hacker would be preferable. You've got the 2 permanent lasers on the top and bottom, and the 1 cone that's actually watching the safe. You definitely need something to get that. Also in live testing, I think they're doing human testing here. Well, I guess Secure Take makes makes very good products. I guess. Perhaps it was another criminal that got caught sneaking in at one point. This area at the top here can seem a bit intimidating because there's the one computer and you're never going to be sure if the virus is going to hit the right laser. But this computer is actually the main key towards breaking open the rest of the security here. By grabbing that virus at the top, we can grab a second virus here in the room that this doctor is guarding. And by grabbing just these two viruses without too much hassle, we can completely shut down the middle area here and open that safe no problem. The only thing to do is grab that one piece on the way out towards the, back to where we came in.
Quelqu'un ici? Stoppez-le, bon sang! Oh, et puis tant pis.
Qu'est-ce que c'est que ça? Y a quelqu'un? Je crois que c'est bon.
So, let's talk about the last bit of security in the lobby. The lobby is probably the toughest part of this level, and again, the key to cracking it is having a lot of viruses going at once. Luckily, the computer labs can provide you with a pretty decent number of viruses for you to crack into there. There is a laser gate, a security gate on the top and bottom of the area heading to the right. In addition, there's a rotating laser that's connected to the machine gun. There's also a permanent laser attached to the security doors. So, if you don't have a lot of viruses going, or you trip the wrong alarm, or even if you're playing a character who can't open the security doors as fast as the locksmith can, it can be a bit difficult. But, as always, judicious use of smoke bombs saves the day. And with that, we're done with Security Tech. Please join me next time when we see friggin' sharks with friggin' laser beams on their heads.